Hot Yoga Teacher Training Q&A, your burning questions answered. I know that burning is a little dramatic of a word, but that's the word the algorithm gave me to use for my YouTube video.
But you tend to be a little overdramatic.
But just think of it as important. But these are very important questions that I've gotten over time from people that have done my teacher training program, people that are interested in teacher training program. And I wanted to share the answers to these questions with you on this video. So let's dive right in. Our first question is from Joe from Houston. She writes, how old do you have to be? The reason why she's asking that question is because she has a 19-year-old daughter. In the old days, 21 was the minimum age. I actually got that from Bikram, but I made some exceptions over the years. Now, I'm not sure other teacher training programs might have different criteria, but for the Barkan method in the Bikram world, 21 is the minimum, but I had made exceptions. The first exception I made was for my son. My son Sean was doing yoga since he was 3 years old, and obviously I'm going to be there to guide him and mentor him. I had another student named Shay, and she did the training when she was 18 years old. She grew up with yoga. Her mother was an avid student. I allowed her to do the teacher training program, and now she's one of the top yoga teachers in all of South Florida, interestingly enough. And recently, Joe's daughter, 19 years old, because Joe has been guiding her and she's been doing yoga with her daughter for a long period of time, I made the exception. So now 18 is the absolute youngest, and that's only if their family's into it and they've been into it for a long period of time. But between 18 and 21 is the answer to that question. And before we continue on, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this video. You want to learn all about hot yoga, tutorials and flows. And if you have any questions, put them down below in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you. But if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and the subscribe button right now. The next question is from Kel from Australia, from the Gold Coast. She writes, do you have to have an advanced practice? I get this question all the time. Let's talk about it. In the old days, only the advanced students that were doing the Bikram's advanced class were even allowed to teach. But in the last 25 years, as yoga started to grow and there was a big demand for teachers, so the answer to the question is you do not have to have an advanced practice. However, I believe that the best teachers that I found that have come through my teacher training program throughout the years, I've been certifying teachers since the 1980s, but mostly the main concentrated ones since 2003 are the ones that eat, live, sleep, and breathe yoga, the ones that are super passionate about the subject, because then they're going to absorb the information. Now, on the other side of that coin, if you have an advanced practice, it'll definitely be an advantage because you've been there yourself. You can definitely help the advanced student move to that next level because you know intricacies in your own body that you really couldn't understand intellectually. Now, that being said, some of the most advanced students I've ever seen were not very good teachers, were very boring teachers. So it's a different talent to be able to communicate the information and to do it.
And that's a whole different ball game.
Now, if you have an advanced practice and you're a good communicator, that would be the ideal combination. But it's not a requirement. Not anymore. However, once again, I found that the most successful yoga teachers are the ones that continue to absorb the information. They continue to be students, to learn that information so then they can better help their students, guiding them to their next level. Next question is from Janice, who now lives in Pompano Beach. She writes, what type of teacher training program should I do? Very important question. My suggestion is to seek out a teacher training program that specializes in the yoga that you are passionate about. The reason why you want to be a teacher in the first place. There's no such thing as regular yoga. Somebody said to me the other day, I take regular yoga. I said, what does that even mean? Well, it's not heated. No, there's no such thing as regular yoga. It's like saying I take regular dance. There's no such thing as regular dance. There's ballet and jazz and tap and salsa and line dancing and break dancing. Same thing with yoga. There's a Iyengar and Ashtanga and Vinyasa and Bikram and Barkan and Restorative and Yin.
Wow, that's a lot.
What type of yoga are you passionate about? That's the teacher training program that you should pursue. If you're interested in becoming a Barkan hot yoga teacher, we've got a few options. To become a 200-hour teacher, you can do the online option. You can start actually this week. I put links down in the description below. Or you can do a live teacher training program. Once again, there are links down in the description below. This year, the next level 1 live training is in Bloomfield, New Jersey at Zora Hot Yoga, September and October, 2 10-day sessions. You can also participate in live retreats and level 2 trainings in Costa Rica this year, May 11th to the 18th, and in Reykjavik, Iceland. That's going to be a really cool trip, July 7th to the 11th. So we have 200-hour, 300-hour options and retreats throughout the year. We'd love to have you join the Barkan family. Next question is from Elena, who's from Fort Lauderdale. She writes, What's the average cost for a teacher training program? Let's talk about that. First of all, there's a 200-hour teacher training program and there's a 300-hour teacher training program. Let's talk about the 200-hour. I'm not talking about teacher training programs that you can do in a weekend for a couple $100s. I'm talking about an extensive, comprehensive teacher training program recognized by Yoga Alliance that gives you the 200-hour status where you have required curriculum and tutorials and anatomy and hands-on and non-contact hours and so on and so on. The average cost for a 200-hour teacher training program can be from $2,000 all the way up to $15,000. The average would be around $3,000 to $4,000. Bikram's training, I believe, is $7,000. In the old days, the Ani Sara, John Friend training was $13,000. But once again, the average between $2,500 and $4,000, somewhere in there. But this will tie into this question before. My suggestion is do not shop price. First of all, you have to look at it. Don't think of it as cost. Think of it as an investment. You're investing into your future. If you wanted to be a stenographer or you wanted to be a welder, you're going to go to that particular school and you're going to pay the tuition, so you invest into your future career. Same thing with a yoga career. You want to find a teacher training program that specializes in the yoga that you're doing and think of it as an investment. My suggestion is the last thing you want to do is shop price. You definitely don't want to do a teacher training program that you're not into, that you're not passionate about, or that's convenient because it's cheaper, because you're not going to get the proper education that you need to be successful in your yoga career, in your future career, to help your future students. You want to find a teacher training program that specializes in what you're passionate about, and then make the investment. And then I suggest, if you're committed, make the investment. Next question is from Morgan, who's from Virginia in the United States. She writes, should I do an online training or should I do an in-person training? Recently, I did a video on the pros and cons to each. Now, a live training is a wonderful experience because you have this community feeling. You've got this, you're connected with these people. Sometimes you'll connect with these people for the rest of your life. The online advantage, at least in the Barkan method, because that's really all I can speak for, is that it's a lot more comprehensive. You have so much more information on your computer. In the Barkan method, you have access to it for the rest of your life. Some courses and online courses, you only have access to it for a year or so. The Barkan method, you have it forever. So you have all this information on your computer. You might have done multiple teacher training programs with me and you say, what do you say about standing head to knee and that at advanced level again? Now you can just go to the video and watch it. You just may not remember it unless you're a crazy note taker like Joe. And I've said this before, don't think of the online option as instead of. Think of it as along with. For example, we're going to Costa Rica next month, May 11th to the 18th, 2024. If you're watching this video a little bit later, that's when we're going to Costa Rica. Half the people in Costa Rica are graduates of the online course, because you still want to participate in the live teacher training programs. That community feel is amazing. But the online training, I have so much more flexibility, put so much more information into the curriculum that you can access to be a more credible teacher, because you have all that information available on your computer forever. And then back to the whole prerequisite, I think that was the second question. I had a premonition once. Somebody came to my teacher training program in 2005, and his name was Wesley. He came from New York, and I said, Wesley, I have this image of future premonition of you teaching classes in New York that are packed with students in the future. I just see that image. And unfortunately, because I said that, it freaked him out. And during the teacher training program, he was tongue-tied. He could never even get the words out because I think I put too much pressure on him. But my premonition did come true, and to this day, this is now 19 years later, he's teaching classes in New York that are packed with people. So I had that premonition. Just wanted to share that with you. And our last question is from Greimer and Kathy from Iceland. Kathy is actually her English name. I can't pronounce her Icelandic name. It's something like Ragnarok. They gave her that nickname.
Cannot stop Ragnarok.
But I call her Kathy. And they write, should I do a local training? Something that's convenient. Again, don't think of yoga teacher training programs as convenience. You got to think of it as specialized. Now, here's a prerequisite. I believe that your teacher training program person should have at least 15 years experience as a yoga teacher before they even start thinking about doing a teacher training program. But when I started my comprehensive Barkan method training 2003, I'd already had over 20 years experience. The advantage of taking a local training is that you may be connecting to a teacher that you're familiar with. That's great, as long as they have the credibility in the experience and are specializing in the yoga that you are passionate about. Again, it's an investment. You may want to travel, or you can do the online option. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Any comments, questions, you have questions, put them down in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you. You want to learn all about hot yoga, hit the subscribe button and the like button right now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.